our grade 9. Once again, today we're gonna have our revision about world history. In topic 4, we have been speaking about the civilization in North and Middle America. Have spoken about the Americas, and we said that the Americas refers to two continents, which are North America and South America. And we also have spoken about how the people started to move from Asia through Siberia into Alaska. And that was in the Ice Age when all of this water passage here was covered in snow, which enabled the people to move into Alaska. Of course, and at the time of the Ice Age, the people here started to suffer a lot from the circumstances they faced during the Ice Age. Yet, they started to adapt to the circumstances and the climate change. Some of them started to move down into Central America. Central America, here in this place, and also here in this place. We consider that to be Mesoamerica. Mesoamerica, the middle
It's
of.
in Mexico, teacher.
Yes, darling.
It's in Mexico, you mean, teacher, right?
Yes,
In the
Mexico
middle of
here.
America.
Yes. So from the south of North America and the north of South America, both of these places were called Mesoamerica. Mesoamerica, because the people started to live in these places here. Why in these places? Because these places here are via the equator. I don't know whether the equator can appear on Google Maps or not. But all of us know the equator. The equator runs from this place here. That's it. That's it. Okay. And since you have here the equator, so that's the most or the highly dense rainy place. He's going to, but he's still working on it. Yes.
Teacher, did
Anyone?
anyone live in Iceland?
Yes. A lot of people started to live there, and they were totally dependable upon hunting the animals and gather some food. Nomads living there until they
Teacher, what
started
is
to
the
move down.
Mesoamerica?
Mesoamerica, Middle America. Mesoamerica, simply Middle America.
Okay, thank you.
Just like this. If I ask you about the Mesoamerica, Mesoamerica, where? Yeah. So the middle of America is called Mesoamerica, just like this. So middle of America. Why middle of America, Mister? In order to understand, because of the equator. In Mesoamerica, the equator runs here in this place. And this is the most highly dense place for rain. And since you have rain, you will have farming, just like this. So far, so good.
So good,
Yes.
yes.
The people who started to live in these places, first, we consider them to be the Olmec. We consider them to be the Olmec. So many scholars consider the Olmec the first American civilization. What do we mean by civilization?
Ruling family?
Ruling family, that's the dynasty.
King or emperor?
Civilization. No, 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 civilization. Like Saudi civilization, Olmec
Oh,
civilization, Bahraini civilization,
Culture,
Egyptian
teacher.
civilization, a culture, a group of people who started to build a culture. So don't remember, we're speaking about the people once they started to move into a new place. Once they started to move into America, they started to spread and move along the place from Alaska to the north until Mesoamerica, the middle of America. The Olmec started to live there, and by living there, they started to cultivate some plants. Cultivating plants means farming. Farming means moving from which period into which period.
Paleolithic to Neolithic.
Paleolithic to Neolithic.
From
Once you
Paleolithic to
just
Neolithic.
exactly. So once you enter the Neolithic period, you are starting a civilization. Why? Because once again, Paleolithic, no farming, moving from one place to the other. Yet, Neolithic means you will just start to settle down. And that's the most important thing about civilization, settling down. Once you settle down in the civilization, oh, come on.
You
Texas,
farm.
for example. So the people started to settle down in this place. They will farm. Farming will produce surplus of the crops.
Food.
The crops will produce trading. Trading will produce manufacturing. Manufacturing will produce a lot of things which can lead you to stability. Stability. And by that stability, the people will do what? Will start to get the best in all fields, including, of course,
Teacher, what's the meaning of stability?
stability. When you are stable in your country, there are no wars, there are no struggles, there is nothing that can disturb you to live a peaceful life. That's stability, stable, easy.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. So the first people there were the Olmec. Those people, of course, in order to settle down, they will have to do what? They will have to cultivate some crops and they will have to start farming. By starting the farming, they will settle down, build the simple houses. Then, once they have surplus of food, the number of people will grow. The growth of people, it's called urbanization, by the way. The growth of people will lead into many houses into villages, villages into cities, cities into city states, city states into a whole civilization. And even a group of city states can make a kingdom or an empire. The same thing, again, the same thing will be applied to all of the civilization that we have already studied and even will study. So far, so good.
Yes.
Only. And Middle America, number one. The Americas refer to two continents, North America, South America. Some of the earliest civilization in the America developed in Mesoamerica. What is Mesoamerica?
Middle of America.
Middle America.
Middle of America. Great. The early evidence is supported by the theory that bands of hunters and food gatherers followed the herds of bison and mammoth across the land bridge between Siberia and Alaska. Of course, this line explains what?
There was the Ice Age.
In the Ice Age, yeah, what happened? Huh?
The migration
What?
starts
Thick
from
ice.
Alaska and Siberia.
So, explains the migration of the people. So, the people started to move from Asia into America because some nomadic people or bands of hunters started to go after the bisons and the mammoth through Alaska from Siberia. So, also many scholars consider the Olmec to be what?
The first civilization.
American civilization. So many scholars consider the Olmec the first American civilization. The first Americas, they faced a variety of environment. Why?
Because of the
They
Drought.
moved from where to where?
From Alaska to Central
from
America.
Alaska to Central America.
Bravo. So first they moved from Siberia into Alaska. Once they entered America, they started to move from Alaska, which is icy, into Central America, which is very hot. Consequently, they have already come counter a variety of environments or climates. So first of all, far to the north and also the south of the continent, people started to learn to survive in the icy, treeless lands, which we have called what? We can call it what?
Ice Age.
Adaptation. So simply, people will adapt to all the circumstances in their life. Like here, for example, in Riyadh, it's very hot, yet we have already learned to adapt to the heat. We have our air conditioning, and of course, the people there they didn't have yet. They also learned to adapt. Okay.
Okay.
So Neolithic people again. Neolithic means
After farming.
After farming.
Writing.
bravo.
After farming.
After farming, you will do what? You will farm. After farming, I'm gonna farm, but I'm not gonna only farm one type of group. Yet, the Neolithic people, the people of farming, started to cultivate What is the meaning of cultivate?
Make.
Sheep,
Make, shape. Yes, huh? What else?
cows,
Create.
Like cows, keeping cows, like the herders. Huh? What else?
Gold.
Hunting.
Nice. Hunting.
Adopting.
Adapting. Nice. Bravo. Mixing. So the people started to
Fitting.
cultivate a range of crops, meaning that keeping or mixing or making a range of crops. And of course, this range of crops will enable them in order to live and also trade, including, of course, the beans, sweet potatoes, pepper, tomatoes, squash, and maize. Maize is the
Corn.
corn. Nice. So the Olmec, this name, who gave it to them? How do we know that they have been called the Olmec?
Native Americans, I think this.
Yes, they are the Native American, but we do not know their names, Muhammad. The name came from the Aztec
The Aztec.
civilization. So the civilization after them called them the Olmec. Consequently, we call them the Olmec too. What about the ceremonial centers? What do they mean?
They were large pyramids.
Made for what?
For God.
For
Gods
God.
and
For praying.
rulers,
For
I think.
religion. For religion. So simply, the ceremonial centers, they were made for religion. And we have mentioned this, most of the American civilization, they had their ceremonial centers in the shape of,
Up high. Pyramid.
in
Pyramid,
the shape
pyramid.
of ceremonial centers in
Pyramid.
America, in the shape of pyramid. And of course, these pyramids provided what? Hmm? The pyramids were used only for religious reasons. True or false?
false,
True.
What else they have been used for?
Nothing.
So if it's nothing, so it should be true. Yet they have been used for other means. Like, for example, they have been the houses of the priestess, and those priests started also to study astronomy and mathematics later.
So it's true or false?
No, it's not only for religious reason, also because they have studied in them about mathematics and also about astronomy. So it's not only a religion. Even we have mentioned that they have made how many calendars?
Two.
Two
Two
calendars.
calendars, right? So it was not only for religion. So unfortunately, one ceremony of this was by sacrificing the people in the ceremonial centers. Most of the people who have been sacrificed, they were from nobles, merchant,
Slaves.
servant, or the people who were captured at war. Hmm?
People captured at war. Slaves.
Those people who have been captured at the action of war, most of them were sacrificed at the ceremonial centers. Scholars also think that these colossal heads, which the Olmec carved from 40-ton stones, are portrayals of the actual ruler. Remember the heads?
Yes.
These heads. Some of them, some of these heads can be more than 40 ton. 40-ton stones. And some scholars believe that these stones resemble some of the rulers. Also, the way that they have made these stones still ambiguous to us,
Unknown.
because how just can you just imagine a couple of millennia ago and the people carved 40-ton stones? How did they do this? Very fascinating.
Wallet.
Yes. The Olmec also engaged in trading jade, obsidian, blah, blah, blah. And of course, most important, about any civilization is always gonna be trading. Why?
Uh, for wealth.
Of course, for wealth and controlling another range of places. Let's do this.
Teacher, I have a question.
Yes, darling.
The Olmec, were they city-states, ruled city-states or empire?
Okay, we're gonna speak about this right now, but I don't want to speak about it now. Why?
Okay.
Because I'm gonna compare the Maya to the Olmec and also the Aztec. Don't worry. But I just will make them in comparison just to know them. Okay? So scholars also have thought about the Mayan. Yeah, among the gods also were the jaguar and serpent, and they were represented in all of the pictures on the ceremonial centers. And the archaeologists have already identified the Olmec religious and artistic influence on both Maya and the Aztec. To speak about the Mayan, the scholars have long thought that among the people that the Olmec influenced were the Mayan. What do you mean by this?
Big teacher that the Olmec people came to Maya. There were no, I think, like a disaster on the Olmec.
So the Olmec came first, and after them came the Mayan. Yet, what the scholars believe in Muhammad is that many of the means of life, how the Mayan lived, it was affected, this action or this life was affected by the life of the Olmec themselves. Like, for example, you come to live with me in my house, and you will take a lot of my knowledge, a lot of my perspective, and you will
Cultures.
take these perspective into your own house. Exactly. So they have been affected and influenced by the Olmec. The
So,
Mayan came second, were influenced by the Olmec. Yes.
but teacher, the Olmec, do we know why, what is the
No.
decline for it? Or
No.
no decline for it?
No. The majority of the decline was totally ambiguous. We did not know it.
Ah, okay.
Okay. The Mayan, they started to build large cities since they are now very wealthy by trade and also by farming. The Mayan, they were building very large cities, especially El Mirador in the place called Guatemala. El Mirador in Guatemala was one of the most important centers for the Mayan people. By approximately 2050, the Mayan Golden Age started to appear. What do you mean by a golden age?
The peak.
The peak. Excellent. Bravo.
Their
So
prime.
A great,
their
a great
prime.
age.
Nice. Excellent. So simply the best period that the people lived, they were very wealthy, controlled a lot of places, stability, there are no actions of war. All of that would lead to a golden age. And most important, do not forget that also knowledge is included in the golden age. And of course, the
Teacher,
golden age for the Mayan was called the classic period. Yes, Muhammad?
is dates important?
Not quite. Come on, I'm not gonna just the tombs and the rituals. Nice. So I'm not gonna just force you to memorize all the dates. No. So just if I bring any date in the exam, I'll just say by about 250 AD, the Mayan blank started, known as the classical period.
Ah,
You just say the Mayan
So
golden
no
age.
dates. So no
No, I'm
asking
not
about
gonna.
dates.
No, I'm not gonna ask you about the dates. Even if I brought dates, I will bring the dates. I will not ask you about the dates. It's stupid for me to just bring the dates. Okay,
Okay.
okay, teacher.
great. So see one of the cities of the Mayan. Of course, this is the place between North America and South America, and that's the Gulf of Mexico. Of course, this place has a lot of rivers which can support the farming method. For the farming method, how many methods of farming did those people have?
Two.
Which are
I think first that they burn the trees,
Bravo. And second?
and the second is to create some channels for water.
Okay, great. Huh? What was the second, boys? The first one by burning down some forests and trees and start to use the land for farming. Would this a very good method for farming?
What is the
No,
question
because
again?
it will get to drought.
Nice. So again, the Mayan they had many methods for farming. One was for burning down the forests and trees and start to use the land for farming their own crops. There was a second method. Who remembers it? Farming near the river. Excellent, bravo. Farming near. Remember when we said they started to use the highlands near the river?
Yes.
So now we have two methods. The first one was better than the second one. True or false?
False.
Why?
False.
Because it will
Teacher,
burning trees
the
will
water,
lead to drought.
Nice,
the
bravo.
water is right there
The water is right there
with the river.
with the river. So you're speaking about the second one is better.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So in the first one, of course, you have a fertile land, a forest, woods, some plain area. After you burn them down, you're destroying all the nutrition inside the land. You're gonna cultivate some crops for 1 season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons. Yet eventually the land will become poor in nutrition, and this will affect the type of crops. That's why the Mayan started to move from one farming land into the other. But the second one, they have become smart by doing what? By raising some land by the river. I'm sorry, but why did they raise the land for farming by the river? Soil will become bad. Excellent.
What is the question?
Why did the American people start to use a method for farming in which they started to raise land by the river? Why do I need to raise the
So
land?
the water does not flood.
Exactly. So one word, floods. So because of floods, if you have a plain area, flood is gonna destroy all of your crops.
Can
But
you repeat,
if it's
teacher?
a high, they will not be flooded. Yes.
Can you repeat? I didn't hear you.
Again. So for the farming method, the Maya developed two farming methods, right?
Yes.
The two farming methods were number one, burning down some tropical forests and use the land for farming. The second one, by lifting up or raising some land by the rivers and use it for farming. The first one was bad. The second one was good. The first one was bad because the soil will become poor in nutrition. The second one was better because right now, by making the land for farming by the rivers, you are making sure of nutrition, which will come with the annual silt. Remember the silt?
Yes.
And the silt is
Like a piece of sand that the
nice.
water pushes up the
Okay. The silt is
land.
the soil brought by the flood, annual floods. So this will make the land what? It will make the land very fertile. And second, by raising the land itself, you will just be in the safe zone from any flood. So the second method was far more better than the first one. So far, so good?
Okay, teacher.
Yes,
They cut the trees.
they did cut the trees,
The,
yes.
no, I mean instead of burning, they cut the trees.
Yes.
Was the first method going to be better than the second?
Yeah, it would be very good, but you have one big, huge problem.
What?
How can they move the cut trees?
Roll it.
That's gonna be very, very hard for them to do. Right now, we have machines to do that. Yet, you're speaking about millennia ago. They didn't have the means to cut down a whole forest, and then move the trees that they have cut. It's gonna be very, very tiring and hard for them. That's why it was
Okay.
easier just to burn them down. So far, so good.
Yes.
So, over the course of hundreds of years, many city states held power, with warfare and trade a constant theme of life among them. Cities such as Plinic, Copan, and also Bedras Negras all carried great influence in their time. Yet, the largest and most supreme power, it was the rulers of Tikal and Clacamul.
Te-
Tikal and Clacamul. Yes?
Teacher, should we know all the cities
No,
name?
no, 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 no. The most important, Tikal and Clacamul. They are the most important ones because they were the largest and most supreme power. And once again, boys, have no worries. The exam is going to be very easy. You will not write anything. Everything is going to be in front of you. Choose, fill in the blank, match, and also true and false.
Teacher, can you send the worksheet with the highlight and
Yes, 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 yes. After we finish, I'm gonna directly send it because we still have like a couple of lines that I haven't covered. So we're
okay,
gonna cover
thank you,
them
teacher.
together, and after covering them, I'm gonna send it. I'm not making it for myself. I'm making it for you. Don't worry. So while the Maya were not united, Muhammad,
Yes.
Muhammad, your question,
What about what? Ah, okay, yes.
while the
About
Maya
the
not united politically, as later Aztec and Inca came to be. So the Mayan, the Olmec, both of them were not united. Yet the Aztec and the Inca started to become united under one civilization. Because once again, the majority of people started to live in city states. After living in the city states, huge changes have happened in the society, including one strong male who will come to rule. Again, so one of the most important themes of unification is one strong ruler. One strong ruler. Like we had Shivu Gandhi, Darius the First, Alexander the Great, and also the Mayan rulers. Each Mayan city state, of course, has its own ruler. And then the ruler usually was a male person. Yet later, some things are gonna change. The majority of the Mayans, of course, were farmers, like any other civilization. For the cultural life, speak about the Mayan cultural life. It, of course, included impressive advances in learning and also the art. And as we have mentioned before, if you have a civilization which is very, very, very advanced in arts and architecture, so it means what?
Math.
Math. Okay, what else?
astronomy. Astronomy.
Astronomy. What else?
High knowledge.
High knowledge. What else?
What is the question?
If you have a civilization which is very advanced in art and architecture, so this
They will
civilization,
have houses.
houses. What else?
Astronomy.
Large
Again?
Material.
buildings.
Materials.
Materials. Bravo.
Huge
Continue.
buildings.
Design,
Huge buildings. Excellent.
designing,
Again, Faisal.
designing,
Designing. Nice. Bravo. Architecture. Nice. But here comes the question. If, for example, you are in the middle of war, can you be very advanced in art and architecture?
No.
Of course not.
Yes.
How? If you are in the middle of war, let's, for example, take what's happening in Ukraine right now. So all the buildings right now are being destroyed because of the actions of war, right?
But teacher, I have a question, sir. Can I?
Yes.
So teacher, they may be advanced in like learning and arts Like for example, for doing like advanced weapons and swords and something like that.
Yes. They may be advanced in weapons and so far, but the actions of war are always gonna destroy your society. On the other hand, once you live in stability, then you will be very, very advanced. Because stability means what? Stability means you are living a peaceful life. Your peaceful
No
life,
words.
no war. No war means you are becoming advanced day after day. You are building a project. You are just take any civilization now, even Saudi Arabia now, because Alhamdulillah we are living in stability in Saudi Arabia. So we are making, for example, Riyadh season. We are bringing all the people from outside, new metro, new airlines, new building, new project, new companies. All of that will be very, very, very advanced only because we are living in stability. So, if a civilization is advanced in art and learning and architecture, it means they are stable. It means that they are stable. The Maya also started to develop complex polytheistic religion. What do you mean by polytheistic?
Many gods.
Many.
The
Many gods.
majority of the civilizations that we have already had,
Were
most of them are
polytheistic.
polytheistic. Most of them are polytheistic, believing
Also
in
the Greek
many
too.
gods. The majority of the civilizations millennia ago, most of them were polytheistic, believing in many gods. The cities of the Maya are known today, of course, for their towering temples and palaces building from stone. Of course, towering temple because the temples need to be high in the sky in order to serve the gods. The Maya also placed elaborately carved sculptures of many of their own buildings, which is a very good thing for the art also. The Maya also developed a hieroglyphic writing system. A hieroglyphic writing system. What is the difference between hieroglyphic and the other types of writing?
Teacher, the hieroglyphics were symbols and the writing were letters.
Bravo. Bravo. And who were the first people to make the alphabet?
Phoenicians.
Phoenicians.
Phoenicians. Excellent. Bravo, mashallah. So, those
What's the
people,
difference again?
the hieroglyphic, it means symbols, like the Egyptian hieroglyphs, items. But on the other hand, the alphabets using letters. So hieroglyph mean that you are using symbols. Like for example, we have the symbol of a bird, the symbol of a wave, a symbol of the sun, and those symbols will represent or show us some meaning or refer to a word. On the other hand, the alphabet, you must put a group of letters together, like our English alphabet, in order to make one word. Yet, unfortunately, not like the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, which has already been deciphered after the Rosetta Stone has been found. Yet, the scholars didn't decipher until recent decades. So, the Mayan hieroglyphs were not deciphered until recent decades. The Mayan developed 365-day solar calendar and another 260 days religious one. So as we have mentioned, they have made two calendars. One calendar for the annual one and the religious one. The Maya priests also, they started to invent a counting system. Very important point. The counting system for the Mayan was based on three symbols. Those symbols are what? You have a dot for one, a bar for five,
Above
and
the
a shell for zero.
Teacher, how does the shell look like?
Really?
a rock.
No, I mean
Like
there.
a shell.
Like a shell, yes. The shell for the Mayan people.
شلون مشل؟
Yes. The
Oh.
shell for the people.
Just a random circle here.
And later they started even to use the dots. 1 dot, 2 dot, and 3 dots. Okay, so each dot would represent 1. And we have the bar for the 5. So for example, that's 1 bar means 5. A bar with a dot, so 5 and 1, that's 6. 2 bars, 2 dots, so 5, 5 and 2, 12. Okay. For example, here you have 500. You have here the shell and 2 dots inside. So the system itself was, although it was very simple, yet it helped them a lot in the trading process. The Maya, they abandoned many of their cities, unfortunately. Why do you think they would abandon a city?
Drought.
Drought,
poor system, not great economy.
not great economy.
Low
Earthquake
resources.
station.
Again,
Earthquake.
earthquakes, natural disasters, bravo.
Low
And
resources.
also some actions of war, perhaps. Right? The Mayan unfortunately started to abandon many of the city-states, including the process and the method for farming. The first one led them to leave their places from time to time because the land became infertile. Also, we have in lands like and cities like Yucatan Peninsula, cities started to flourish for a few centuries, but there also the Maya eventually stopped building them, unfortunately. Our archaeologists do not know for sure how the Maya and why the Mayan civilization declined. So perhaps an earthquake, perhaps some other disaster, an action of war, maybe. We're not sure of what has happened to those.
Like the Minuans.
Like the Mayans, excellent. So the bands of the Numidic people for the Aztec civilization, the one that has come after the Mayan, the bands of nomadic people from the north started to migrate or migrated into Valley of Mexico, which lies on the high plateau of central Mexico. And once again, guys, those people, those people were very concerned about Mexico here and northern South America here because of the equator, the high density of rain, the farming, the fertile land, which will enable them to survive. So they started to move into the plateau of central Mexico, and all tribes spoke just one language in the Aztec civilization, which is Nahuatl. The Nahuatl language was spoken by all the tribes in the civilization. The Aztec also found their capital city, Tenochtitlan, the capital city for the Aztec people. According to the Aztec legend, remember about the capital? How did they form the capital or the place for the capital city? Who can remember? The myth about the capital city. The Aztec, they had a myth about building their capital city. About
the eagle? Is it an eagle?
Yes, excellent. An eagle holding what?
A snake. I think.
Bravo. So according to the Aztec legend, the god had told the Aztec to search for an eagle holding a snake in its beak. And of course, when he approached the land, this is going to be the place for the capital. The Aztec built China maps. Quiz number 3. Or quiz number 2, I think. No, quiz number 2.
What's China maps?
What's a China map? That's a perfect question. China map, they are the artificial island made of mud on the top of the reed mats. So simply, they started to build island. So let's imagine, for example, that's a lake. And that was very smart. Here, for example. Let's imagine that, of course, that's an NC, but let's imagine that's a lake. So that's water right now. Okay, so they started to move the sand and the mud from land and put it in the middle of the lake. Why? Because by doing this, they will start to have land in the middle of the lake. Not only this, let's take this is smaller one. Not only this, but by building here the mud, it will enable them to build the houses on this place. And those houses will provide them with what? Huh?
With the water.
Teacher, what is the question?
So he was asking why did they build the China maps? So simply by
Protection, teacher.
building protection. That's it. So by building your city inside the lake or on an island, it will provide you with protection. That's
For
number one.
sight.
Yeah,
A sight.
protection from the invaders. So they started to build those China maps only to provide them with the protection. And since you are doing very well in your civilization, you will always want more. And by wanting more, the Aztecs started to expand greatly into their neighborhood area,
I have a question, teacher.
which is
Were the Aztecs good traders?
yes, they were perfect traders. That's it. No other question?
No, teacher.
Okay.
Teacher, this city, Tew tension, I think. Can you go up a little bit?
Here,
And the city of the yes, this is the city or the capital for Aztec.
yes, the capital of the Aztec, Tenochtitlan.
You said before they formed it with a eagle using or holding a snake, right?
Yeah, they had a vision or an idea that the gods have mentioned that an eagle holding a snake in its beak will approach a place. Once he approaches or the eagle approaches this place, this is the place of your own capital city. That's why they have built it according to the legacy or according to the prophecy. So once again, the Aztec started to expand their territories, and unfortunately, war brought immense wealth as well as power to the Aztec Empire. But Mister, you have just mentioned that war is bad, right? War is bad for one party of the two parties because two civilizations are gonna get in war. The one that will triumph, win, will have a lot of power and a lot of wealth, but the one which will lose is gonna lose a lot. Consequently, since the Aztecs were very powerful and also good soldiers and warriors, started to become very, very powerful and gain a lot of wealth through war. Tribute. What is tribute? Or tribute?
It's written
Payment
next to it.
شو اسمه ضريبة. Taxes.
Tax on
Foreigners.
foreigners due to
Or
the actions
the
of
people they conquer, teacher.
the people they conquered. So due to war. Where are the rest of the people? So the tribute or tribute is the payment from the conquered peoples. And unlike the Maya city state, each of which had its own king. So the Maya, they had the city states. But on the other hand, the Aztec Empire had just one singular ruler. So Mayan lived in city states, but the Aztec, they had an empire, and in the empire, only one ruler. And the council of noble priests and military, of course, they elected the emperor, and the emperor must be the most powerful man. The Aztec also, they had a powerful middle class, and the majority of the people, as well as any other civilization, are gonna be the common peasant and farmer.
Teacher, middle class, they mean the hierarchy?
A hierarchy is a system of government, Muhammad, but the middle class means like the merchant, the artisans, the people who have
Yeah, that's what
a
I
middle
mean.
class or
That's what I
moderate.
mean.
Again,
That's what I mean, teacher. The people
yes,
in the middle of the middle in the country,
yes,
like ordinary people, like merchants, traders.
yes. Those people, Muhammad. The Aztec, they had a very powerful middle class, and the majority were farmed, or the commoners who farmed the land, the farmers and the peasants.
Teacher,
Yes,
I have a question. Is lesson 5.3 very important or maybe important?
5.3, 5.4.
No, yes.
Do not study them.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Welcome.
Teacher,
Yes,
can I just study the worksheet?
you can, but you need to read the book carefully. Yes,
Just I read it carefully.
read it carefully, because once again, I'm not sure whether it's gonna be my exam or Mr. Khan's exam.
So if it's your exam, it will be from the worksheet, right?
Mostly yes,
Okay.
because once again, the worksheet covers everything.
Teacher, what are the lessons that are not going to come in the exam?
Last two lessons, 5.3, 5.4.
Thank you.
Very well. For the culture in the Andes, the archaeologists are not sure of the Chavin political structure, but they think that the cultural region unified the people throughout northern and central Peru. The Mochi people, if you can remember, they named after their most famous cities, and a taube, which is a mixture of clay and the plant fiber, became very hard as it dries in the sun. This plant was used by the Mochi people and the people in Peru. So far, so good?
Yes, teacher.
So far, so good.
Okay. Pachuta Inca also and the Yupaniki, they were the skilled warrior and the leader. And both of them proclaimed himself to be the Safa Inca. This man started to proclaim himself as the Saba Inca. What is the meaning of a Saba Inca?
Ruler.
The ruler
Ruler
or
for Inca.
the emperor, because of civilization. And of course, the Saba Inca, he held the absolute power. What if the Saba Inca was in the action of war and he left the country? So the Kuya is the Kuya is
It's
Queen.
like
the queen.
it will be like
Saba
the
Inca.
queen.
Yes, Saba
When
Inca.
teacher
Emperor.
Saba Inca like go into war, the Koya will like carry the important thing in the country, the people in the country.
So the most powerful man, the Saba Inca, emperor. His wife, the queen, is called the Koya. And if the emperor wanted to leave or go to war, the Koya shall go on in the civilization and continue by making sure that the people are living in stability. Specially trained officials, they kept the records on cubic, or the cubio is the collection of colored strings that were knotted in different ways in order to represent various numbers. All roads lead through Kazico. What does it mean?
Kazuko was a capital city.
Excellent. And it was very bad. True or false?
False.
False.
Very
It was great.
advanced. So it was great and
Oh.
truly advanced. Bravo. The Inca also strictly regulated the lives of millions of people within their own empire, and the leaders of each Inca village called an Ailo. The leader of each Inca village was called the Ailo. Powerful, of course, a class of priestess started to serve the god, including the most important god in the Inca civilization, which was Inti. And Inti was the god of the sun. And of course, he had many other names during several civilization, like Aton, Amon, blah, 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 and all other civilization. All of them started to make a god for the sun. Of course, it's wrong. Yes?
Was all the civilizations polytheistic?
Civilization. We're going to. Again, Cameron, what's your question?
My question was, are all the civilizations in the topics, they were all polytheistic?
Yeah, all of them were polytheistics.
So none of them were monotheistic, right?
No,
Only
not of them.
one.
No one until the Spanish people started to invade America, and by invading America, they introduced the Christianity to them. And Christianity, along with the Judaism and Islam, all of them are monotheistic religion. But the
And
people
in
who
those,
started to live in America themselves, they were polytheistic.
Can you repeat, teacher?
Yes?
You said something. Can you repeat it?
Yeah,
Could you please
Samuel
say
was
something
asking
again?
about the polytheism and monotheism in America. All of the civilizations of America, they were polytheistic, believing in many gods, until the Spanish people started to reach America. And when the Spanish people came to America, they introduced Christianity to the American people. And Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, they are monotheistic religion. Any other question?
No, thank you.
Okay, comparing the three civilization. So the three major civilization of the America, they number one, differed in location, origin, and early history, their custom, language, tradition, all of that was very different. Yet they liked civilization elsewhere, the Maya and the Inca, they shared key features like the well organized government, the complex religion, the job specialization, the social classes, architecture, and also art, public work, blah, 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 etc. Of the three civilization, only the Inca didn't have a system of writing. Only the Inca didn't have a system of writing.
Teacher, I have a question.
Yes.
Now, Inca is the last one, right? Yani, of the three.
First, we have the Olmec, have the Maya, you have the Aztec, and later we have the Inca.
So why didn't the Inca adapt the language of people before, or the writing system?
An excellent question, actually. Bravo, bravo, bravo. But once again, in order to start a civilization after another, you are having a period of disability or a period of disstability, not stable. And perhaps this period could extend for centuries, many, many years. During that period, the people start to forget everything. Remember what happened in the Han Dynasty? The people became very developed. But after the Han Dynasty, the golden age of the Chinese people, they started to go backwards once again. So once again, you are becoming to your peak, and then you start to decline once again. You can rescue yourself from the middle of the climb, but sometimes you go down until you reach the scratch, the ground, and then you will start to climb once again. Okay.
They have a system for numbers like the.
Yes. All the three civilizations, also Maya, Aztec, and the Inca, all of them built on the achievement of the early people. For example, the Aztec would be built on the achievement of the Maya. The Inca would be built on some of the achievement of the Aztec. And the Maya themselves have been already built on the achievement of the Olmec people. Yet, still, each of them created its own style in art, legend, and even the view of the world. The characteristic of the Inca life, pretty easy. For the farming, they start to build the terraced fields. You have it here, I think. Yes. For the farming, build the terraced field, grow the corn, potatoes, and beans. For the domestication of animals, the most common one was alpaca for wool, and also the llamas, which carried the goods, the crafts, the counting records, the medical practice, the religion, and making clothing. All of that was very important. Inca hierarchy. The Inca hierarchy. So the Inca, it was a hierarchy civilization. One emperor, one ruler. Hierarchy, system of government, introducing one ruler. One man shall rule over the other. Let's take this. Where did it go? Yeah, I'm gonna send it after we finish. I'm gonna directly send it to Uncle Sir. Don't I just do this and do this and bingo? Bingo. So the Inca hierarchy. Hierarchy means system of government in which only one man shall rule the country. So the Saba Inca or the emperor held the absolute power, and he served the Enki, which is the god of the sun. After him came the Kuya or the Saba Inca wife. Then you have the ministers, you have the priests, you have the common people, nobles, blah blah blah, until we have the farmers at the end. Yes, darling.
One by one.
I'm sorry, your voice is a little bit lagging. Can you repeat that?
I said, can you tell me the four civilizations in order?
Can I tell you what civilization in order?
The civilization that is
In America? That's pretty easy, man. Number one, we start with, start with the Olmec. And after the Olmec, we have
The Aztec.
Maya.
the Maya. After the Maya, we have
Inca.
The Aztec. And after the Aztec, we will have the Inca. Let's take Control X. Let's move this down. Down, down, down. Wait a second. Don't I just do this? Easier for you.
Teacher,
Yes, darling.
can you do a homework in Classera?
Problema,
20
señor
questions.
Problema, señor problema.
Teacher, make it 40 questions better.
I know what you want. Don't worry.
Call the homework exam, okay?
Call the homework exam. Why not? Last but not least, the last civilization and the last topic, 4.3, think we have already made 4.3.
4.3 and 5.1. There's a, I think, teacher or worksheet. It was in the last exam. Quiz.
Yep, in the last exam.
Or a quiz.
Yes. And bingo. The people of the North America. I have already provided you with this, and we have already revised it. Do you need me to revise it again?
No, teacher, can you go like with
Teacher,
the...
Yes.
we want homework, please.
I'll assign you a file right now. Wait, before I forget. Bingo. In the course material.
And teacher, what about the Greek?
I'm gonna revise the Greek right now, and I'm gonna upload the worksheet, all of it, in this moment. Just give me 1 minute. That's ancient Greece. Okay. Mark hashtag answer. So in the course material, you will find the title Ancient Greece and homework hashtag answered. This is the majority of the question about the people in Greece.
Sure.
For example, that's it, right? Yep.
Teacher, the last two lessons, 5.3 and 5.4 is not going to be with us in
I
the
have
exam.
mentioned that like a million times.
I didn't even in Muhammad Khan's exam. Same thing.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
And his name is Mr. Muhammad Khan. He's not playing with you.
Mr. Ahmed.
Yes.
What is the most important lesson? Can you tell us?
All of the lessons are important. That's a very stupid question, unfortunately. But if you want to make things easier, just remember what we have already explained. And again, I need you to understand more than you memorize. Understand more than memorize. It's just understanding. I'm not gonna just put very stupid things in the exam in order to just torture you. I don't want you to lose marks. I need you to love the subject, understand about the people, understand about what they have done. The exam is pretty easy, but it needs understanding. I think right
Teacher,
now.
if I understand the worksheet, am I good for the exam?
If you understand the worksheets, you can get like a very, very high mark in the exam. Please no, please, please, please no. Please don't die now. Don't die now, please. 15 pages. Okay, this has been already done. And let's upload another one for topic 4 about the American civilization.
Teacher, what about the homework? Will
I've
it be
already
an
uploaded
assignment
it.
in Classera or what?
Yeah, it's on the course material on Coursera.
Okay.
Teacher, 40 questions, the homework?
A lot more than 40. And the
More than
answers
40,
are on the last page.
Thank you, teacher.
Are very welcome. That's the homework, and I answered.
Teacher,
Yes.
how many pages the worksheet?
I'm gonna just send it now. Just a second because it's lagging. Hope that not single line has been lost. The world history summary. I hope to find it as it is. Okay, okay. Holy moly. Inca hierarchy. That is the Inca hierarchy. I think we're missing something. Okay. Yep, that's the one we want. Right, right. Actually, it doesn't matter which one of them. Let's just use this one. And let's make it a little bit better.
Teacher,
I guess Muhammad.
so I have a question about the Greek. They were the Greek are the Athens and also the Sparta. They were
Yes.
like they were fighting each other, right?
They had fought each other after the Greek have made the Delian League, and by making the Delian League, Athenian people started to take advantage of the Delian League by taking advantage of it. City-states like Sparta, Acropolis, and the Kronos started to just take their hands out of the Delian League and made some counter league, which was Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
teacher. I
yes,
can hear you
teacher.
right now.
Yeah, I think I lagged a little bit, right? The internet connection, I'm sure. I'm sorry. Huh.
Yes.
Tell me what was the last thing that you heard?
The last thing that you said, I think they had advantages in the league. So
Yeah, who had the advantage in the league?
the Athenians.
Dorians.
The Orients. Okay, give me a second, please. Upload this. Can you see my screen?
No.
Boys, can you see my screen?
No, teacher.
No.
No, teacher.
Okay, just a second, just a second. My laptop is lagging. My laptop is lagging. Just a second. Come back. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Teacher.
Yes. Say your question quickly.
Teacher,
Number 7. Yes.
you have sent 3 worksheets.
What?
You have sent 3 worksheets.
Yeah, I have sent 2 worksheets, one for 4 and the other for 5.
The ancient Greece is for chapter 5.
Yes, for chapter 5.
Okay, thank you.
Topics.
Teacher,
4.1. Yes.
does Mr. Muhammad Khan did a worksheet?
No, he didn't. I'm sending my worksheet to him right now. 5.1 and 5.2. Should be a comma before this, but since we are using hashtag, it's okay. And desktop, bingo. Open Sesame.
And teacher, you're gonna upload the recording right now, right?
After we finish, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Open Sesame, please. Okay, so you have 9 pages of a worksheet, of course, including photos, which can take a lot of space. Any question in the Greek civilization?
Yes, teacher. What I said that they were fighting.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I totally forgot. I missed you there, Muhammad. So once again, we have Athens, Sparta, Kronos, a lot of places in the Greek civilization. First of all, the Greek civilization, they were a hierarchy. Greek civilization was hierarchy. True or false?
True.
Greek civilization was a hierarchy. What do you mean by Greek civilization?
Dorians, Athens, شو اسمه.
Athenian, Spartan.
Teacher, the worksheet doesn't work.
And which one?
Both.
What do you mean by it doesn't work? So,
Teacher, should I only study from the worksheets or
not only
even
from
the
the book. Read the worksheet and the book. The Americas answered. Let's view it and see why it doesn't work.
Work with me. They both work with me.
Okay, that's great. It will work soon, don't worry. Perhaps it's gonna take time. So once again, we have the Athenian people. We have missing the file, more information. Close. Let's try to download. The Athenian people, unfortunately, they had a problem with the Spartan people, because the Athenian people, they were taking control of the Delian League, and they moved the treasury from Delos, the island, into Athens, and they used the money to just build their own city. After that, the Spartan, they just took their hand out of the Delian League and they made the counter league. It was called the Peloponnesian League. After that, they had a fight with the Athenian people, and that led into the Peloponnesian War. It does work with me, Hussein. Download it directly. That's it.
So teacher, after the Phoenician war.
Okay,
work,
and guys, just a second, Muhammad. You have
after
many
the
questions.
Phoenician war.
You have many questions. Okay, answer the question first. Highlight them, underline them, answer them first. Then go down here into page number 17. You will find the answers for each one. Question number 1, question number 2. The answer is which choice. But first, answer them after studying. So you study first, and after studying, just to try to answer them.
Why there is writing questions?
Well, this is supposedly to help you to, or to give me a feedback about your understanding. But since you don't have writing questions in the exam, do not solve them. But solve them orally. Do not try them. Do not waste time. Solve them orally.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
All right, you are very welcome. So once again, Muhammad, the Delian League and the Peloponnesian League started to have a war amongst each other, which led to the decline of Athens, because Sparta had the help of an everlasting enemy, which was the Persian. And of course, also the Spartan, they had one advantage over the Athenian. What was it?
Teacher,
Yes.
the worksheet that you just opened about the answers, which one was it?
You have the American and you have the Greek. In
Can I say the advantage, teacher?
Yes. In the description, Hussein, you will find homework answered. Homework answered. That's it. And the final one, that's the worksheet for revising.
Can I say
Yes,
it now?
really answer. Huh?
Athenians' power contains on her military in the sea. The water. I forgot his name. The Marines.
Bravo.
Not
Nice, the fleet.
Yes, and the Spartans were the opposite.
Nice. So once again, guys, here, let's make this full screen. Snip. Bingo. So right now, here we have Sparta. Where is the pen? That's the pen. Okay, red is gonna be great. So that's Sparta over here. And here we have Athens. We said that the Athenian, they had a very, 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 very strong fleet. Right? The ships. But unfortunately, if they used the fleet to attack the Spartan, they will not be able to do this, as the Spartans were in land. And by being in the land, the fleet doesn't work with them. But for the Spartan people, they only need to move to the north here with their very powerful and strong warriors, and they can attack Athens. Consequently, the Spartan, they have the upper hand over the Athenian, and that led to the decline of the Athenian civilization. After the Peloponnesian War, Athenian Golden Age has already declined, and the Athenian civilization was about to die forever. Yet, after this war, all of the Greek city-states, all of them started also to decline to a greater power, which was the people of the north, which were the Macedonian Empire. In the Macedonian Empire, we have here Macedonia. King Philip II, father of Alexander the Great, started to march down towards Greece and annex city state by another, and his son also continued after he was assassinated. Philip II was assassinated, by the way, killed. And Alexander started to control all of that place from Macedonia, blah, 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 until the borders of India.
Is this important, teacher?
No.
Okay.
Not now. Did you find the worksheet online?
Teacher, our time has finished.
Yes.
Your time is already finished 5 minutes ago, but I have no worries.
Yes.
No problem to continue with you. If you have any question, I'm just here. Did I stop
Where do I
sharing?
find the answers?
In page 17. WhatsApp.
And which worksheet?
Again?
Which worksheet is page 17?
You have two worksheets on the course material. One of them
Yes.
about the Americas, the other one about the Greek civilization. Did you find them?
No, teacher,
Yes,
you
I
send
found
the sheet
I
for
have
the
already
You
sent
sent
it.
it?
Yes, sir, I have already sent it. Go to Classera now and
Yeah, I
course
know.
material. Yes? Did you find it?
Yes.
Come on. Okay, let me just send the worksheet for Mr. Khan so that he can also send it for his student.
Teacher, the questions for the assignment you sent to us. You are the one who wrote the questions?
Well, the questions has already been uploaded from Savaz Realize, which will provide you with the book.
So the questions will be partly similar for in the exam?
Easier.
Okay.
Much more easier. If you could answer them, Saud, then that's it. 40 out of 40, inshallah.
Thank you, teacher.
You are very welcome, guys. You are not, of course, some of you are welcome to leave if you want to leave, but you are welcome to answer any question.
Teacher?
Yes?
And the exam, how do I know if it's your quiz or Muhammad Khan's quiz?
It doesn't matter whether it's my quiz or Mr. Khan's quiz or questions or exam, because after all, you have already studied. By studying, that's the same curriculum, darling. So have no worries.
Okay.
All right? Both of the exams are going to be easy, don't worry. But you need to study well. Again, you need to study well. Read carefully and just try to understand. And I'm here if you need to ask me anything. Send me on class here. Any question, anything that you don't understand, you need me to revise now?
No, thank you, teacher.
Okay, darling. If you don't have a question, you are welcome to leave.
Is the two epic poems important?
Iliad and Odyssey, very, 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 very important.
Okay, thank you.
You are very important. Okay. And the man who wrote them, of course.
You mean Homer, teacher?
Homer. He did not write, actually, to be more specific. But of course, Homer, he was the one who said them. And later, after some centuries, they have been already retold until they were written by some historians.
And teacher, the epic was it was from the Iliad, right?
You have Iliad and Odyssey, two epic poems. The Iliad speaks about the Trojan War, and the Odyssey speaks about the journey of Odysseus. Trojan War, its theme is anger, especially when Patroclus was killed, Achilles' cousin. And cousin, of course, his cousin Achilles was enraged by his death and killed Hector, the Trojan prince. On the other hand, after the Trojan War, we speak about the Odyssey, the tale of Odysseus, referring to the theme of man and the struggle of man in order to get to his family safe and, of course, to help protect them from any outer dangers.
Teacher, in the exam, 40 questions.
Yes, the exam is 40 questions, Abdullah.
How much true or false? 10?
10, 10, 10, 10.
Everything 10?
Yeah, 10, I think.
Okay.
10, 15, 10, 15, 15, 10. So most important, you have 14 questions, each 40 questions, each one per only 1 mark.
Yeah, okay. The matching teacher 10 also?
Yeah, it's gonna be 10, I think. 10 or 5. You have fill in the blank, you have true and false.
Maybe
you
15 question choose the right. Right, teacher?
Yes.